right, welcome back to another episode of
Cox Family Cooking Show.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Olivia.
And today we're making one of my favorite things, which is our smoothie bowl. So our smoothie bowl is meant to be eaten in a bowl, not in a cup. And it has a bunch of really healthy ingredients, and it's a great way to have a nice snack or a nice breakfast. So to get started, you're gonna take 1/4 of a cup of coconut milk and 1/4 of a cup of water. You're gonna pour that in your blender. We're using a Vitamix here. While Olivia's doing that, let me tell you my little trick. So what I do when I open a can of coconut milk is I actually put it in one of these nice little containers. They're just glass jars with a lid. I got it at Williams-Sonoma, and keep it in the fridge. That way I have coconut milk, easy to use until I finish up that can. So after we add that, we're gonna go ahead and add in a really special ingredient that the first time Olivia heard this smoothie bowl had it in there, she kind of was like,
Not sure if I liked it or not.
yeah, not sure. It's red cabbage. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, it's really good. So what you wanna do is you get a red cabbage and you're gonna wanna cut off the stem of it and then just kind of really slice it into ribbons. So really simple. It stays in the fridge for a really long time. So you can buy a couple of these, cut them up, keep them in the fridge in bags, and be able to use them for really multiple weeks. I would tell you the average size red cabbage is probably gonna do 2 to 3 smoothie bowls, depending on like how big you make them and how much cabbage you put in. So what I do is I don't really measure it. I just really do 2 handfuls. So I'm gonna do 2 handfuls and put those in. And since I measure them based on an adult hand, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm kind of grabbing one big handful, straight into the Vitamix, and then another big handful. Okay. And then I just keep them in a freezer bag in the fridge. So after we do this, we're gonna add in one more thing, which is some vanilla. And it's probably somewhere between 1/4 teaspoon and 1/2 teaspoon, so you can measure it. But I kind of just do a couple shakes. So just shake a couple times in there. Yep, one more time. That's good. So we do a couple of shakes in there, and then we're gonna put it in the Vitamix on high. And this is just really going to start to mix everything up. And this recipe, just so everyone knows before I start, actually came to me from the Balanced Cookbook by Laura Lee, is where I got the idea from. And then I just kind of took one of her recipes and really started changing it up to how I liked it and how the family liked it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started and go ahead and get blending. We're just blending. All right, so we've blended it up to get started. And so what you can see is it's gonna look really purple, and it's gonna be, you've gotten it all mixed in, so the cabbage should be all broken up, but it's gonna be a little bit more of a chunkier texture right now. So the next thing you wanna do is put in what?
Bananas.
Yes, so we're gonna use 1 frozen banana. So quick little tip, you can cut up bananas and freeze them, which makes it really easy. Pro tip, cut them up, put them on a baking sheet with a piece of parchment on it, and have each individual banana slice laid out, and then freeze those for a couple hours, and then take them and bag them up, a banana piece, in a little like snack size baggie. Or you can do what we did this time, which was a little lazier, and we just cut them up and stuck them in the baggie, and they're all kind of like mushed together. Still works, but pro tip, don't do that. All right, so Olivia, go ahead and drop that in. So she's just dropping in 1 frozen banana. And then what we're gonna do now is, once again, we're gonna go ahead and blend it. But we're also gonna add a little bit of sweetness now. So one of the things that you can do is you can add 1 pitted date. So we've just taken the pit out of the date, or if you don't have dates on handy, which some people don't, you could add in some honey, or what was your idea earlier, brown sugar? Yeah. Brown sugar, really kind of whatever you have, but just a little bit of sweetness in addition to the natural sweetness we're gonna put in. So I'm gonna drop that in, and then we're gonna go ahead and blend this up until the bananas are really broken up and throughout. So let's go ahead and put the lid back on and get started. All right, so now we've gotten our banana in and our little bit of sweetness with our date, and as you can see, it's gonna look a lot thicker now. And now what we're gonna do is add in one of my favorite fruits, which is?
Strawberries.
Strawberries. So we're gonna add 2 cups of frozen strawberries. So pro tip here is sliced strawberries are the way to go. It is a lot harder with whole strawberries, so go ahead and dump that first cup in. So just dump in 2 cups of frozen strawberries. And I would tell you, You can kind of tweak this recipe after you make it one or two times based on what makes the most sense for your family. So if you're not as big of strawberry fans, you can do less. But that's really kind of my little secret ingredient. The next thing we're gonna add is 2 scoops. So I just use kind of like big, medium-sized spoon, or you could use a tablespoon if you want to get real fancy, and put in some peanut butter. So I'm gonna use Jif here. You could use whatever you wanted, whether that's a nut butter or some chia seeds even, but I just put in 2 scoops for some protein. Chia seeds also are really great in this as well, but just adds a little bit of protein. Now what we're gonna do again is mix it up. So we've added in the strawberries and the peanut butter, and now we're gonna blend that up. So let's go ahead and get started on the blending. So little fun fact here, stop it a couple of times, use a rubber spatula to scoop down the sides and to just help mix in all of the strawberries, because sometimes they can get stuck. So we're just gonna go ahead and run that for another 30 seconds or so. So go ahead and do that. So when it's done, it's gonna look like this color. So what you're gonna do is just grab a bowl. So you can grab me a big white bowl. We're gonna grab a bowl and we're just gonna pour this in, and then on top we're gonna use some organic freeze-dried strawberries and some cacao nibs, and that's gonna be kind of our topping for our smoothie bowl. So I'm just gonna pour this in to a bowl, and as you can see the texture of this, let me show you kind of how it looks, what it looks like. It's gonna be nice and thick, which is why I said it's a little hard to eat with a spoon. Now, I'm gonna put all of this in one bowl, but this easily could make 2 small servings or 2 medium-sized or large servings, because it's a pretty big bowl that we typically use for things like cereal. All right. So once this is all in, you're seeing that beautiful color, and I almost spilled it. We're gonna take a couple of some little nibs here and sprinkle them on the top. I love these, they're great texture. And who doesn't love a little bit of chocolate? And then we do some freeze-dried strawberries. You can do other things really based on what your family likes and what you like. But we'll have that, and then you'll have this beautiful smoothie bowl. And that's how you make our smoothie bowl. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on
The Cox Family Cooking Show.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Olivia.